It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
All right, Brian, here's another question. This is from Matt DeMann. Matt DeMann says, hey, money guys, in my late 20s and just bought a house. My spouse wants to pay more in mortgage to pay it off earlier, but I want to make sure to get to the 25%. What is the best option for my age group? And then Matt said he is in his late 20s. He and his spouse have a disagreement. How you reckon? Well, one, what's the right answer? And then two, how do you reconcile this between spouses?
Oh, Matt, you came to the right place because you can even just show this video because, I mean, it is one of those things because I think that both of you, by the way, should be commended for having the mindset of wanting to get debt paid off, but also you're thinking about how do we, create the best opportunity or maximize through incremental decision making. But let me give you the why and why I think we're unique in the fact that we account for how valuable dollars invested at a young age are in comparison to the interest rates you're paying. We are in a very crazy historic time right now with interest rates, meaning that you can go buy a house and then look, rates are on the creep up right now. They're on the rise, but we're still under 4%.
Yep.
I mean, easily
Still
under
low.
4%. I mean, even my own personal mortgage, not much left for all the haters out there. It's at 2.5%. I mean, that is money we're going to look back at, especially as they start raising interest rates. It would not surprise me a year from now if my cash doesn't make more or very close to what I'm paying on my mortgage. That's a weird dynamic, especially if you're in your 20s, where you could go invest the money and hopefully make over the long term 8 to 10%. Compared to 2.5%, no, that you go maximize what your money can become, because here's the cool thing. Because a lot of people say, yeah, but the stock market's volatile right now. That's great. If you're young, you actually like a volatile stock market because every dollar that you're putting in while you have volatility, instead of paying down that low interest rate, it's buying more shares into index funds and other things that will serve you well in the long term. You're going to thank yourself. We just did to kick off today's Q&A. We showed how somebody taking a 401k loan for $35,000 cost them $450,000 at retirement because they just didn't maximize the opportunity of every dollar by investing it. The same thing can be said about this whole decision of paying down mortgages. And I hate to say that because it is one of those things where paying down debt is a very healthy thing, but there's a time and a place. And that's why what I think makes us unique, and this is from self-reflection, is I tell you 0 to 45, focus on growing the growth assets.
Sure.
Over 45, okay, you can now, because every dollar that you have has not as much opportunity as it did when it was in its 20s and 30s. It's okay if you prioritize paying down the debt. And that's why it's a win-win situation. It lets you be healthy so you enter retirement debt-free, but it also lets you look back as a very successful 50-something and going, man, I'm so glad I didn't pay down a 2.5% mortgage rate, and I let those army of dollars actually earn the 8 to 10% so that they became the best versions of themselves. I maximized the potential of every dollar. You will be very thankful if you pay attention to that.
Can I add? You care if I add a little
Sure,
thing on
yeah,
it?
please do.
I like the idea with spouses, with kind of gamifying this a little bit. And this is what I would consider saying if I were in your position. All right, sweetheart, you want us to be debt free.
You would get troll comments on that.
All right, honey. What, is sweetheart a bad thing? All right, spouse. We want to be debt free. Let's set a goal to be debt-free by, I don't know the number, 40, 50, 60, whatever it is. But instead of paying off the low interest, let's open up a separate account and we're just going to start dumping money in there. Whatever we're going to pay extra on our mortgage, we're going to dump it into this separate account and just let it grow and let it grow and let it grow. What I think you'll be amazed to find is that being debt-free is really, really cool, but having the ability to be debt-free is just as cool. And if you follow that strategy of building your army of dollar bills, you just keep plugging away, throwing it into low-cost investments, letting it compound over time, what will actually happen is the value of that account will probably reach your outstanding mortgage balance faster than you would get the mortgage paid down. So then at age 40, at age 50, you're going to have the option to say, okay, we did it. Do we want to now take this money and write a check and pay off the mortgage? Well, odds are, if you've built this behavior of over the last 20 years, doing this and building this, your significant other's like, well, no, let's keep going. Let's keep letting this money keep growing until you get to retirement. And then when you get to retirement, you can say, okay, yeah, let's write a check. Let's pay the mortgage off. For someone in their 20s and 30s, I would highly encourage you to pursue that strategy, that method, as opposed to just satisfying this like super, super low interest debt right out of the gate.
You said something that spurred a thought is because I resemble that situation. I mean, I think I'm up to probably 92% equity in my house. That's how low the mortgage is. And I could, like last year, I could have just written a check.
Tell me you're a financial mutant without telling me you're a financial mutant,
I know.
knowing that you have 92%
I
equity.
I could have at the end of last year wrote a check, but just like you talked about gamifying, I like the idea of I chose a date when I turned 50 that I wanted it. So I'm just paying a little bit extra.
Sure.
The same thing. I mean, if you're looking to get a win-win here, I don't mind when people look. It's not a maximization, but it lets you kind of feel like you've checked the boxes for all family members and everybody's committed. Round it up to the next $100 or the next $1,000, whatever. But realize that's not a maximization, but
right.
You are prioritizing the lion's share of your money is for the future if you're under 45. But I'm not going to sit here and teetotal you into you can't have a compromise of rounding it up to $100 or the next $1,000 if that lets you and your spouse feel very good about the decision, but also doesn't let you become distracted of got to pay off this low interest mortgage at the cost of your future self building your army of dollars.
Love it. Love it. Love it.